Hey guys, CrossFlux and BrokenIdeas here with kind of a special one-off video sort of thing.
Yeah.
So, as many of you probably are aware, and others are probably not aware, March 9th is essentially the 20-year anniversary for Yu-Gi-Oh!, at least the TCG side of things. Because, obviously, Yu-Gi-Oh! Was out in Japan for, I think 5 years?
Was it 5?
I think it was 5 years as the manga over there in Shonen Jump and stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, America...
I thought you meant the card game.
Yeah, I'm not sure how long the card game was around. I think the card game was only around, a year before in Yu-Gi-Oh!
Yeah,
in Japan.
that's what I figured. But
yeah, at least as far as America goes, we got Legend of Blue Eyes, the first booster pack, March 9th, 2002. It's really weird to think that it's been 20 years.
It's really weird to think it was as early as 2002. I thought it was in 98.
Yeah, honestly, thinking back on Yu-Gi-Oh! As a kid for me, I remember playing Yu-Gi-Oh! When I was really young, 5 or 6, and it's that could not have happened because I was not that young when Yu-Gi-Oh! Came out.
No.
But
we were 8.
Yeah, we were 8 or 9, and it's but I remember playing Yu-Gi-Oh! Much younger than that.
I think what screws everyone up is there's that date in the corner of Yu-Gi-Oh! Cards that says 1996.
Yeah, the trademark on it or whatever.
And that's probably the trademark for, I don't know, the manga or when the card game came out in Japan.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, so nostalgia is a very weird thing. Human memory is very flawed.
It's also quite bad most of the time.
Yeah.
Do not trust nostalgia.
Yet, despite flawed human memory, we're probably going to be talking a lot of our memories of the game. So I didn't really know what to do for this video. At first, I kind of wanted to do a big tournament thing where BrokenIdeas and myself take various decks that we like throughout Yu-Gi-Oh's history and kind of do a tournament bracket until we eventually decide what was the best deck that we played. But that got to be way too many duels, so instead we kind of just left it as a few decks dueling against each other, and the way we kind of did it is...
mostly our favorite / best ones.
Pretty much, and that's the footage that you're seeing in the background now. So the way we kind of broke it down is we did 8 decks each. 8 from an old era of Yu-Gi-Oh!, which is basically the first 10 years of the game, and then 8 decks from the modern era.
Mm-hmm.
And so we would take some of our favorite archetype strategies, and we also broke it down into various categories. So we had to have a deck based around each of the summoning mechanics. So we had to have a Synchro, an Xyz, Pendulum, Link, Ritual, Fusion, and then that gave us 2 filler slots, 2 miscellaneous decks that we could just do whatever.
We mostly filled some of those newer slots, especially with decks that we really just wanted to try and never actually tried before.
And in the old category, for example, we had 2 extra miscellaneous slots because Pendulum and Link weren't around for the older decks. So obviously we couldn't make a Link deck out of GOAT format. But, so yeah, that's what we're doing in the background. So we kind of did 8 old decks versing each other, and then 8 new decks versing each other. Because obviously it wouldn't be even remotely fair to do a modern deck against an old deck.
No, that's just setting the one person up to fail.
Yeah, it's I don't care if you have full power Teledad. Try and throw that against Zodiac, you're not even going to come close.
I'm sorry, that's not fun, and that's not entertaining.
Yeah, exactly. So that's the explanation for the footage that you're seeing. Ultimately, I ended up having to cut down on the scope of this video, and so basically we're just gonna kind of talk about Yu-Gi-Oh! As a whole, what Yu-Gi-Oh! Means to us, what we feel about it, stuff like that. I figured that's kind of a nice way to celebrate a card game that's more or less been with us for quite a while.
Well, it's very weird what Yu-Gi-Oh means to me, because I did not have anyone to play with. I had cards. I've gone over this. I had cards that I collected here and there, usually from those, like, slots that you could put quarters in at, like, pizza parlors or whatever. You could put the quarters in, you get, like, one card for $1.
Yeah, it was like Domino's or Pizza Hut or something.
I would get one every once in a while if we ordered pizza and went to pick it up back in the day. Or, I think I got a few at a yard sale once. But I didn't have too many. I eventually had enough to make, like, a deck. It wasn't a good deck, but it was enough that you could stack them and say that was a deck. And, so I just played with myself with the cards. Sometimes I just looked through them mostly. What Yu-Gi-Oh means to me is mostly the anime. And some of the manga. I got into Shonen Jump during the middle of the final arc in Yu-Gi-Oh! When they go to Egypt and the Pharaoh. Ironically, I did not see that part of the anime, but I did read that in the manga. They were just starting to try and figure out what Adam's name was. And and I went on from there. And I really liked it in the manga. I loved the anime. Again, I started missing it around, or at least regular Yu-Gi-Oh! I started missing the anime around, what do they call the filler arc with the dragons?
Waking the Dragons.
Waking the Dragons. I watched part of it, and I liked part of it, but it was so long and drawn out. And I think they kept messing with the times it was airing, because I just wasn't finding it anymore. And I really missed the tail end of it, because I didn't see the final battle with Adam until way later. And I missed the whole Pharaoh arc.
Yeah. I was kind of the same way. Like, when Yu-Gi-Oh! Came out, Duelist Kingdom, like, that was one of the most hyped shows for me as a kid. I loved it.
It didn't compare to Dragon Ball Z. Nothing compared to Dragon Ball Z for me. Nothing at all. But Yu-Gi-Oh! Was still pretty good.
Yeah, so I watched it going all the way through Battle City. I watched all the filler arcs, Dungeon Dice Monsters. I even have some of the Dungeon Dice
I didn't watch
still.
Dungeon Dice.
And yeah, I got up to the Leviathan stuff, Waking the Dragons, and yeah, I remember for some reason the show started getting hard to find. Either they were changing the times or whatever. But yeah, like, I missed the Pharaoh arc in the anime as well. Like, I never knew how Duel Monsters ended. After Waking the Dragons, the next anime I remember watching was GX, which I was really excited for at the time.
Couldn't stand it.
Yeah.
Dropped it when, about the time that Jaden started fighting Kaiba Man. I couldn't stand Jaden at all. I hate Jaden so much. And I hate his friends. And I hate the dual discs. And I hate the archetypes.
Okay, I actually prefer the GX dual discs. No, I like the sleek, rounded design.
No, that's not allowed. You're not allowed to like the dual discs.
I don't know. I never liked the pointy, bulky Duelist Kingdom or Battle City.
I thought it was neat.
I mean, yeah, it's cool, but I like the GX
angular
one
and rough around the edges. I don't like, it's too sleek and too clean and too shiny. I don't like that look. The iPod sleek. Ooh,
the early 2000s.
Look how neat and tidy it is.
Everything's all bubbly and round
I kind of like that looking back, but that's probably just nostalgia because
that
I didn't
2000s
like it at the time.
Look. Yeah, I did not like it at the time growing up, but yeah, I look back on it now and I'm just like, and again, wow, I kind of missed it.
The poison that is nostalgia. It makes you brainwashed and like things you didn't actually like. But, I'm sorry if I'm harsh on GX. I just can't stand the designs of the heroes. Especially once they started talking. I know eventually they started talking, and they had Dolphin Butt Man, and I hate it.
Yeah.
I can't stand the Ojas.
The Ojamas. Neospatians.
I can't stand what they did to Chaz. I can't stand that his English name is Chaz. I can't stand the cyber snakes.
Oh, hey, Chaz.
Cyber snakes. Those are not dragons. Those will never be dragons. Those are snakes.
What, they're not Eastern dragons?
No, Eastern dragons at least have some legs.
Yeah,
that is
true.
a snake.
Yeah.
I hate...
Cyberworms.
I'm sorry. I feel like GX. Free to be wrong. I don't like GX, and I never watched any of the other anime except
I like
for
GX
5Ds.
in the sense, like, I like to laugh at it.
Nope.
I don't like to laugh with it, but
No.
I like to laugh at it. And I am glad it exists because it's hilarious.
No.
But yeah, overall, it's like, it's...
Schmade
really
and schmooky.
Schmade and schmooky.
Invalid.
Yeah, that's, that... You can sum up the entirety of GX with Schmade and schmooky.
I'm sure it's better if you watch the Japanese version, but the Japanese version doesn't fix the fact that I don't like the designs.
Mm.
Or that there's a school for Yu-Gi-Oh! To begin with.
Well, we're already talking about the universe where Kaiba is like the world's richest man, biggest genius, billionaire playboy,
man. I
and
know,
he spends his days
I know this
perfecting
is
a
a
children's card
universe
game.
where people worship cards, but they just never explained. Do they do regular school too? Did you have to drop out of regular school and not ever learn math again, or?
Well, yeah, I mean, Yugi and his friends were in
timetables?
school.
Well,
Although
yeah.
I guess they kind of dropped out to do the Battle City stuff.
Okay, but you could still at least imply that they were going to school and we just never saw it because they still had their school uniforms.
Mm-hmm.
This is a school that focuses on children's card games.
Yeah.
A children's card game that comes with a booklet every time you buy a pack telling you how to play the game in case it's the first pack you've ever bought. And they never explained if it was you had to drop out at like 14 to only learn Yu-Gi-Oh! Or if you also learned math and science, the other normal school stuff, history.
Well, you probably learned dual history.
That's not history. So it bothered me too much. There was too much for even my child brain that is very
if
stupid.
GX came out now, given how complicated the game is, it would be a little more believable. But yeah,
Maybe.
GX came out during the GX era, which meant the game was still pretty simple.
Yeah, there was no synchros.
Yeah, no special summoning mechanics. I mean, I guess fusion, but let's be honest, it's not that hard to fusion summon.
I'm sorry for being mean to GX, partly for entertainment purposes, partly because I don't like it. But I did like 5Ds, and I was prepared to think that was stupid.
Yeah, it's funny because 5Ds is like, I think of 5Ds as like the Wind Waker of Yu-Gi-Oh! Or like the Gen 5 of Pokemon. Or like
Soft reboot?
Not soft reboot, but like at the time, people absolutely couldn't stand it. They didn't want to give it a chance. It's card games on motorcycles. And now it's really cool for people to look back and go, hey, 5Ds actually wasn't that bad.
Well,
in fact, it's kind of my favorite.
Well,
Bro, it was my favorite when it came out.
Well, did people hate it when it came out, or did they just hate it when they saw Japanese footage and had no English dub to watch?
I'm pretty sure they hated it when it came out. All I remember seeing is people talking about how stupid it was that they're playing children's card games on
Well, I do
motorcycles.
too, but I thought when they were doing that, all we had was Japanese footage. We didn't have an English dub to watch.
I don't know.
I'm not
I
sure.
didn't have the internet until like 2007, 2008 maybe. So, which was, yeah, probably right around the time
after
5Ds was
me.
coming out, so.
You missed the whole Neopets phase.
I still played Neopets, but yeah, it was like starting to.
Oh, you played
go
bad
on.
Neopets.
Yeah, I played bad Neopets.
Okay.
Yeah, but yeah, I got into the internet really late. My parents just never had the money for it. Well, technically they did. They just spent it on other stuff.
It's a good thing I grew up with a dad who had a bad internet and gaming addiction, because I got exposed to every console and every PC.
Yeah, so
No map.
our money was split, basically. I was always really into games, but I never had a lot of games, and I certainly never had every console. So, like, I basically got every other generation of games. So I had an NES, I completely missed the SNES, but I got an N64. And then I missed the GameCube, and then we got the Wii.
Yeah.
And after that, I was old enough to make my own money, so yeah, I started getting stuff.
Yeah, I've played pretty much every gen. I did play a little NES. I played a little SNES. I started with the PS1, obviously. I think I've gone over this. I played the PS2. I played the PS3, although it took a while to get that one, because, remember how expensive that was when that came out? And I had to save for years to get that. I played the Xbox 360, played the original Xbox. Really up till PS4, I played every console of every gen. But once we hit that era, I've only played PS4. I haven't played Xbox because I didn't want it. I had a PC by that point, and we could make good PCs that would run the same games, and there was nothing really exclusive to Xbox that I wanted. So up until that point, yeah, every console, but not after that.
Yeah. So since we were splitting money, the reason I couldn't get all those consoles was the rest of our budget went towards Yu-Gi-Oh! Because I bought so many cards as a kid. Like, I never really got an allowance as a kid. My parents didn't really do an allowance. It was just
They didn't teach you the value of money?
Not exactly. They just kind of got me stuff for doing well in school and doing chores every so often.
I got $2 a week.
Yeah, so they never gave me money. They just kind of got me gifts.
For doing chores. I had to do the chores, and my mom would get on me.
Basically, like, once a week or like every other week, something like that, if we were at the store and I'd go down the toy aisle or the card aisle or whatever, and I'd be like, hey, I see that, I would like that, and they would get it for me, and that would basically be my payment for getting good grades and stuff like that. So we had tons of Yu-Gi-Oh cards when I was a kid. My dad was always good at finding like card shops or whatever that had like big bulk commons and stuff, so I never had good cards as a kid.
You had them in Japanese, though.
Yeah, I had a couple Japanese packs that we found in stores, and I actually pulled pretty well in some of those. Did
you pull the Ghost Rare, or did you buy that?
I traded that from a friend.
Oh, he just traded you a Ghost Rare?
Yeah, my best friend in high school had it. And so I forget what I gave him. I didn't give him really much of anything. It was mostly a gift. I just kind of gave him a few cards in exchange to help my own conscience.
Nice.
Yeah. Yeah, but my Ghost Rare Stardust is literally my prized possession in terms of Yu-Gi-Oh! Like, that card is super safe, and it will never be used or traded or sold or anything.
Or looked at or breathed on.
Well, it'll be looked at. I mean, that's kind of the point.
I don't even remember where it is. Where did you put it?
It's in the secret super special awesome binder.
I don't remember which one that is. You have like 8.
Yeah. Well,
and they all
I'll show you when we're done recording.
Okay.
I'll show you the family jewels. It's so weird. I really love math and science. I've always been kind of a logical kind of guy, I like to think. But
maybe too much?
Yeah, for some reason, I never really put 2 and 2 together as a kid. So, like, I never looked at Yu-Gi-Oh! As a thing that could be studied and gotten better at. Because I played with absolute garbage cards, and I never really gave it any thought growing up on how to build a deck.
How'd you beat everyone in your high school if you had garbage cards?
Well, by the time I was in high school, I had the internet. But I'm talking, like, when I was first playing the game, like, as a kid.
When you're a kid with no internet, especially, and no one to really bounce off of other than your parents, you don't get that there's rarities or anything.
Yeah, I didn't...
Like, I mean, you can look at the cards and see that they're different colors, but what does that mean? If there's nothing to go off of?
I mean, my only exposure was the anime, and in the anime, Yugi and Joey and Kaiba used crappy cards. And they got away with it because the writers could have them draw whatever they needed when they needed it. But it never worked that way in real life.
but it works for a card game.
Yeah,
anime.
it works for a TV show because, again, it has to be interesting.
Yeah, it has to be interesting. You have to find a way to make the duel last 20 minutes.
Yeah.
As opposed to real life, where the only reason it will take 20 minutes because you both got 2,000
It's the same reason a
walls.
TV show has time skips in the first place. You're not going to watch a TV show where you just watch the protagonist literally get in their car, drive to work, go to work,
get
do
stuck
their
in
thing,
traffic for half an hour,
and then take their lunch break and go home. Like,
Go
you're
to the
gonna watch
bathroom.
the TV show from the point of view of the interesting parts, because that's why you're watching the TV
parts
show.
where the
It's to
plot
escape
finally
from
happens.
reality, it's to watch something entertaining. So yeah, that's why they do it in the card game. But yeah, so like, as a kid, I never really used math or statistics or anything like that to figure out how to make a deck better. And it wasn't until I got the internet and went to high school and found other people who played the game where I actually started learning, oh, you can actually get better at the game. It's not just draw the right card when you need it. Also, I will toot my own horn here. I was the best duelist in my high school.
Yeah, my dad.
Yeah, other than my dad, who helped run the Yu-Gi-Oh club that I started. Because, of course, all the clubs at my early college, high school was just super boring and trash. I was just like, I'm not going to waste my time.
Where's the anime club?
Yeah, I was like, where's the anime club? So I was like, you know what? I'm going to make my own club. And it's going to have blackjack.
No.
Except instead of blackjack, it was Yu-Gi-Oh!
Uh-huh.
So, yeah, so we did that, and my dad was, because the club had to have, like, an adult chaperone, and none of the actual teachers
Wanted to do it.
was going to do that. So, literally, I applied at the school, and they gave me permission to have my dad come in and be the, like, basically the chaperone.
I just love the image of your dad back when he had his big 10-foot tall mohawk.
Yeah, and he had a
walking
big mohawk and everything. Yeah, like, my dad's this, like, heavy metal rocker kind of dude.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he's super old school and traditionalist in some things, but, like, he's also really hip and modern with the kids, you know? So, like, I always appreciate that my dad did try to get into the things
It
that
was more,
liked
I mean,
growing
I don't
up.
mean it in a bad way. It's more, he was trying to make up for the childhood he didn't
Yeah,
have.
he was definitely trying to make up for the childhood he didn't have. He had a really bad life growing up. He didn't have a lot of fun
stuff.
He went to war and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, when he had me, I guess he had an opportunity to
Oh,
have
cool. I
another...
have an excuse to get into kids' stuff.
Yeah, I can play card games. I can watch Dragon Ball Z. I can do this and stuff.
I can watch Pokemans.
Yeah, like, I think my dad liked Dragon Ball Z more than I did. And I liked it a lot.
It was my favorite thing.
My dad's favorite was Vegeta.
Vegeta was my favorite, too.
I think
Vegeta was the best.
anyone with culture says Vegeta's their favorite.
Or at least better than Goku.
Yeah, better than Goku. Goku's the
Goku's-
normie answer.
I like Goku. It's fine. I don't hate Goku.
Mm.
I just liked Vegeta a little more.
But yeah, so it's interesting to see, like, how something as stupid as Yu-Gi-Oh! Can actually, like, mean a lot to people. Because Yu-Gi-Oh! Honestly means a whole lot to me. It's one of the things that I cite most as, like, being influential and fun in my childhood. Because, like, I had video games, for sure, and the biggest thing as a kid for me was Power Rangers. But, like, besides Power Rangers and video games, I would probably say Yu-Gi-Oh! Is, like, number 3, and, like, Digimon would probably be, like, 4. Or 3, depending on my mood.
I would put Digimon at 3 instead of 4.
Mm.
I'd have to actually go over.
I mean, I was a 90s kid. How could you not say Yu-Gi-Oh!, Digimon, and Pokemon were, like, super important to you?
I played Pokemon, and I liked the games, but the anime meant way more to me than the games.
Yeah, Pokemon games were way better. Digimon, the show, was way better.
Yeah.
Also, the concept was way better.
Yeah, I do. Especially now, I do like Digimon.
Yeah,
more.
Digimon also has an advantage over Pokemon nowadays, where, like, as technology and modern day culture advances, the idea on what Digimon can be can only ever grow and expand. Pokemon is kind of stuck in the way that it is. Oh, it's about kids exploring the world, capturing these fantastical creatures.
Well, I mean, there is more to the world.
I mean, yeah, there is more, but yeah, they don't ever explore it.
When was the last time they ever touched those trainers? The
Rangers?
The Rangers.
Pokemon Rangers, yeah, stuff like that.
I'd like to see the Rangers again.
Yeah, Mystery Dungeon, that series is dead.
I'm sorry, Pokemon has gotten, I feel, simpler over time. Or I'm just too old.
Could be. It's probably both. I mean, let's be honest. They just dropped that Pokemon Direct thing where they revealed Scarlet and Violet.
I thought it looked
just
okay.
like, oh my goodness. I already made that video on the channel a while back when Sword and Shield were coming out.
I thought it looked alright.
I really don't want to have to make another video, but...
I thought it looked okay. Yeah. I think it looks better than the direction they've been going.
True. Anyways, we should probably talk about Yu-Gi-Oh! Again.
Yu-Gi-Oh! I stopped talking after 5Ds because I didn't watch the animes after 5D.
Yeah, after 5Ds I didn't watch the anime. I also didn't play the card game after that
I watched the
anymore.
first episode of whatever was after Zexal, and it felt like it was made for 5-year-olds, so I stopped.
Yeah. But yeah, I think I've talked about this before. We've talked about a lot of this before, honestly, in the Progression series. But yeah, like, about the time Zexal hit, I was going to college. So I, didn't have anyone to play with. Because I was antisocial. I'm sure I could have found people at State who played Yu-Gi-Oh!
Well, all of your time was taken up with church and bugging your roommates.
But yeah, between actually doing schoolwork and getting involved with the church super heavily.
And eating. And
eating 24/7 because I had an unlimited meal plan.
I'm telling you, I visited him at college back in the day. He spent a good portion of his day just eating. Oh yeah,
I would go, because we had this dining hall that was basically a buffet style. You could literally just get whatever you wanted as much as you wanted.
It was a big buffet. It was literally a buffet.
And so I would go for breakfast before classes. As soon as my first class would end, I would grab second breakfast.
Just gonna...
And then I would have a big lunch, and then I would have first and second dinner, and then I would have... So, like, the dining halls would be closed by that point, but they had other establishments on campus for food, and so I would get usually, like, a midnight snack kind of thing, and of course I snacked throughout the day as well. But yeah, like, it was crazy.
He goes over this explanation at least once a month.
I know, I miss it so much.
I'm aware he misses it.
But yeah, so because of that lifestyle, Yu-Gi-Oh! Just didn't fit anymore. I didn't want to give it up. It's not like I saw, like, Xyz monsters and I was all like, that's dumb, I'm done. Looking back on it, I really hate I missed the Xyz era, because it's probably my favorite summoning mechanic now. I love the idea of stacking the cards together and using them as material.
Yeah.
Because that's how, like, my sister, my dad, and I would play with fusion monsters back when we were kids.
Back when you didn't know any of the rules.
Back when we didn't know the rules and didn't care. It was literally like, they're fusing together. Let's stack the cards together. They shouldn't be in the grave. You can't Monster Reborn the Flame Swordsman after he's been fused with the Dark Magician. He's not in the grave, he's in the monster. That was our line of reasoning.
Yeah, and it made sense.
So, yeah, I really hate that Xyz summoning was something I missed at the time. And so, I was out of Yu-Gi-Oh! For years. I had, like, card review sites that I would visit, and I would try to stay a little up to date to kind of see where the series was going. So, I knew about pendulums, I knew about link monsters. And it was like a year or two into Link Monsters being introduced when I was finally done with school and we were together, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna get back into Yu-Gi-Oh! It's been too long. And so, bam, we got back into Yu-Gi-Oh!
And that's when I really started actually learning Yu-Gi-Oh! Because again, I didn't have a way to play Yu-Gi-Oh! Before. So it's been cool. And it got me into other card games, like the Superior Digimon card game.
Yeah, Digimon, the new TCG that came out in, like, 2020?
It's only been out like
2021, I think, in America at least.
Mostly
that is legitimately my favorite card game.
It is.
It's one of the most balanced card games with unique mechanics. And not only are the mechanics unique, it feels Digimon. Because the idea of Digimon is growing your critter, raising them,
turning them into something stronger,
using option cards, balancing memory and RAM, stuff like that. And those are all elements you see in the card game, and the way they implement them is really good.
And fair.
And fair, yes. You can put together just about any deck, and you still have a good chance. You're not going to
get OTK'd in Digimon. At least not yet.
Not yet, at least. Power creep is starting to come in, which I'm a little worried about.
Still not as bad as it was in even early Yu-Gi-Oh!
No, it's not. But, yeah, like, from Yu-Gi-Oh!, I eventually got into Magic. So, like, I was into Magic a little bit in high school. Not a lot. I think it was New Phyrexia was what was around when I was first playing.
I like Magic, it's just more expensive.
And I never got into the Pokemon card game. I tried it. It was just so boring and gimmicky.
I never got into it. I also had a stack of...
I also think the cards are really ugly.
I also got a stack of Pokemon cards back in the day. I know I got almost the whole deck from a yard sale. And then I bought a Raichu card off of eBay because I thought it looked really cool, and Raichu was my favorite Gen 1 Pokemon. I just really liked Raichu.
Yeah. And it's like, I mean, some of the cards can look nice, art-wise, but the layout of the cards is something I don't like. And 9 times out of 10, the artwork on the card is really bad.
I just don't like the border. Like, all the stuff surrounding the art. I feel like it's gotten messier over time.
Yeah.
And the energy cards always look weird to me.
Yeah, energy, lands, I don't like that mechanic in games.
I thought it was okay in Magic. I liked Magic. Again, Magic's only problem for me was it was too expensive.
Yeah.
And now we like Wicross.
Yeah, and now we've gotten into Wicross recently. It's definitely a new game for us in America. I still am planning to make a video on it at some point. I participated in a tournament back in January. I suck at
it, but it's a little similar to the Digimon card game, so it's not been that bad.
Yeah, it's similar to Digimon, except with waifus instead of monsters.
Dr. Tamago is best one, by the way. She's cute. I like her monster outfit.
Also, as a kid, like, Yu-Gi-Oh! Inspired me to make stuff. So, I don't even remember what I called it. I may have never even given it a name, but I made a card game as a kid, which was kind of based on Yu-Gi-Oh!, but also kind of like a board game where, like...
Is that the one where you drew Kirby?
Yeah, I drew Kirby. I drew a lot of stuff that was just literally taken from, like, other franchises and stuff.
You still had a handful of the cards, and I saw them, and they were cute.
Yeah, the card game was obviously absolute trash because I knew nothing about game design, but I wanted to make something because I loved Yu-Gi-Oh! So much, and I think that's probably why I still want to make card games to this day. Obviously, we also want to make video games.
Oh, I just remembered. Yu-Gi-Oh! Did inspire me. That's what made me draw.
Nice.
All of my drawings, when I started drawing, were 99% very extremely poorly drawn Yu-Gi-Oh! Fan art.
I drew a lot of poorly drawn Digimon and Dragon Ball Z when I was little.
I did a little Dragon Ball Z. Dragon Ball Z technically made me want to draw first, but I was too scared to draw Dragon Ball Z characters because muscle. You know, the Yu-Gi-Oh! Characters to my kid brain were easier to draw because they were all spikes and little noodle arms. So, to my kid brain, they were easier to draw. So Yu-Gi-Oh! Is technically why I draw.
It's the start of everything.
Anime! The source of everything.
Yu-Gi-Oh! The gateway to weebhood. It's true. Yu-Gi-Oh! Was the first anime I really watched, and is probably the reason why I gave anime a try.
I think I saw Pokemon first because I got the pilot on VHS.
Well, yeah, I guess technically I saw
I
Pokemon
ordered it
first.
from my catalog, and I think I got it before it aired on TV. Because I didn't see commercials for the show yet. It was just in the catalog, and my mom had to order something from it. So she was like, "What? Take one of these
had
VHS
this
tapes."
weird, like, I think it was a Toys R Us demo VHS. It didn't even have the pilot to the Pokemon anime. It was literally an advertisement that talked about Pokemon as a whole, as a franchise. Because they went over, games are coming soon. They showed off Red and Blue, and they're all like, and there's going to be a show, and it's going to have Ash and Pikachu. And they had the Pika car, the Pika little yellow bug thing. It was dressed, yeah, it was dressed up like Pikachu. I'll find an internet photo or something and throw it in here. But
I don't remember a Pika car.
yeah, it was weird. It was obviously the first time I'd seen Pokemon because it was literally advertising, hey, Pokemon is going to be a thing, get ready.
Get ready to take your parents' wallets.
Yes, take your parents' credit cards and make them buy everything. Hold their credit cards hostage. Hold a gun to the card and say, if you don't get me this Pikachu, you don't get this card.
No, Bob, you don't understand. I need a Pikachu real bad, and
I
the
need a
kids are gonna bully me.
The kids are gonna bully me at school because I don't know what a Pikachu is.
I don't have a Pikachu.
Well, we've probably talked everyone's ears off enough. I know my voice is already starting to get tired.
Tired?
So we should probably go ahead and wrap it up.
Okay, then.
That's a wrap, folks. But, you guys should leave comments down below, talking about what you think of Yu-Gi-Oh! As well. Because I feel like...
What are your nostalgic memories?
what are your nostalgic memories? Because we've basically only cracked the tip of the iceberg with this video.
I know you.
At least for me. I could talk about Yu-Gi-Oh! For hours. Basically, I don't talk much at all about anything. Unless it's something I like. And then I could literally talk for hours. I'm pretty sure I have talked to you about Power Rangers for hours. It's probably been like 3 or 4 hours is my most. But I could have kept going. I think you were falling asleep or something, though.
In a row, or...?
Yeah, in a row.
Okay, yeah, I think you did for a few hours. I mean, I wasn't bored, because I like Power Rangers. It was just hard when it was the seasons I haven't seen.
Yeah.
And now I don't need to see them. I'm still gonna see them.
Yeah. And I say, we'll get there eventually. I do plan on covering Power Rangers on the channel. It's too important to me to not cover.
Power Rangers means more to you than anything else you like.
Anyways, you guys have a blessed day, and we'll see you in the next video, whatever that is going to be.
Have a blessed day. Bye-bye.